Hi, I'm Coach Greg Davis, and this is one-on-one where we speak to the names and the personalities and characters in the building here at VA Diddle Arena. Today, show number 5. Another award-winning show. We've got Travis Hudson here with us. Coach, thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this, man. Always good to spend time with you.
Absolutely. Enjoy it. Hey, my first question with people always is, paint the picture. What started you with your career? Where did you come from? Those type of things.
Yeah, well, it kind of came out of nowhere for me. I was a hilltopper myself as a student. I got to the Hill in the fall of 1988, was a football, basketball guy, and never touched a volleyball in my life when I started back then. But, I say a lot of times that I think if someone can coach, they could learn to coach any sport. I think if you take the time to learn the X's and O's, because as you know, coaching is about relationships and trust and communication, and so it was a out of nowhere kind of thing where I got exposed to the sport and had an opening, and next thing you know, at 24 years old, I'm the youngest head coach in Division I volleyball.
Unbelievable. Now, coaching and some of the people I look back that I have great respect for growing up, Sparky Anderson, Bob Knight, Woody Hayes. Who do you remember as coaches, not necessarily in volleyball, but coaches growing up that you had great respect for?
Yeah, one of the things that was always fascinating to me about coaching was how different personalities could be elite at what they did. Bob Knight was somebody who I was very familiar with, and obviously he was, in them and stern and all that, but then there was a Dean Smith who was calm and quiet, and I was kind of always fascinated by the fact that you could come from any kind of personality background and find your way there. And then, look, as soon as I got to the Hill, there were some legends on this campus. Coach Jimmy Fikes was still walking around here, and I spent time with him a lot. And then one of my real mentors, young in terms of coaching females, was Paul Sandiford. I grew up with two brothers. I'd always played, boys, men's sports, and watching Paul Sandiford coach our Lady Topper basketball team and understanding, how hard and tough and direct and everything you could be with female athletes as well, and it all resonates. And so lots of great mentors even here on the Hill.
Fantastic. Now, you've had 2 honors bestowed on you recently. Member of the Hall of Fame, Hilltopper Hall of Fame, and you've also got a statue. You're the first person I've interviewed who has a statue. So what did those 2 honors mean to you?
Just incredible, really surreal, because of my beginnings, because I began, when I walked on this hill, and people like Jimmy Fikes were still walking around, and, Docky, Bill Edwards was here, and Jimmy Fikes was here, and Jack Harbaugh was here, and Paul Sandiford was here, and, there were so many people that I just admired and looked up to that truly, love this university the way that I love it, and so, to get those honors at this stage in my career has been something I'm super prideful of, and like I said, really surreal. I don't know how to feel about having a statue, walking by a statue. People ask me what it's like and I don't know if I have a good answer for that. I don't know if I'm supposed to look at it when I walk by or ignore it when I walk by, but obviously just an incredible honor.
Well, they definitely did a great job on it. Now, you just started the season. You're coming back from Bellarmine from over the weekend. What did you see out of the team? Like our team
a lot, young, but really talented. Going to be up against it here for the first month of the year. We have, I said earlier, we have only one team on our non-conference schedule that didn't win 20 last year, and that was Oklahoma. Okay. And so we're going to be really challenged here. I think we have the 27th toughest schedule in the country, and so but I like our team a lot, Greg, and I think that as this year plays out, I think we're going to do some really good things.
Fantastic. Now, who's coming up next?
Tomorrow night, we have our last exhibition here in Diddle Arena. It's going to be fun. We're going to try to get some of our freshman class that's here for orientation to swing by and take a look at it. We play IU Indy in our last exhibition, and then start our season next weekend in Cape Girardeau at Southeast Missouri, where we're playing a top 25 team in Oregon and as well. And so we're going to get right after it really quick.
Now, looking at coaching and different sports, there's a lot of use of analytics nowadays, even in my sport. How do you fall on that? Some people are by the gut. Some people don't want to use analytics. How do you feel about that?
I'm trying to take the best parts of it, if you will, but I still, when this really became popular, what I found is I had my head so stuck in that I was missing, what I've found is most of those analytics, if you're in tune to what's going on, most of it is just reinforcing what you already see with your eyes.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so I'm still a person that, certainly my staff wouldn't say I'm a big analytic guy.
Okay.
We use some of that stuff in hindsight, but in the moment, I'm still about the feel of it and what my eyes are showing me.
Exactly, because you can have a different picture on a different day always.
Yeah, no question.
It might not stand up. Hey, let's have some fun here.
Okay.
You and I are both Reds fans.
Absolutely.
Along with our friends Todd Stewart and Parker Vick here in the building.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of a miserable year, but I want to look back on the good years here. Who would be in your top 5 of all Cincinnati Reds? That would be a question I'd have.
Oh, yeah, man. I grew up watching Reds games. I grew up over on Nolan Lake, and AM radio. You could pick up kind of coming off the water, and I would listen to 700 WLW and put myself to sleep listening to Reds games. Top 5. This is all right. I'm going to give you a.
Doesn't have to be in any certain order.
Okay, I'm going to give you a couple from my beginnings from the Big Red Machine. Okay, Pete Rose has to be on that list.
Absolutely.
The different one off that list back in the day that I used to love was Dave Concepcion. Loved him. Absolutely loved him.
Yeah.
The other 3 in my top 5 would probably be Eric Davis. I loved him in that time. You're going to love this one. Chris Sabo. I was a big Chris Sabo guy, third baseman, Spuds with the spiky hair, and then I got to take one of the bad boys. Let's go, Rob Dibble. Rob Dibble, Norm Charlton. The bad boys were so iconic in their time that let's make that my top 5. That's a pretty good top 5.
Hey, that's a very good top 5 to start off with. Final question here. Here's a big one. I always ask this question to Reds fans. Is Joey Votto a Hall of Famer? Yes or no?
I'm going to guess most people say yes. I'm going to go with no.
Okay, you're going to go with no. You got to give me an explanation.
I just his numbers will say Hall of Fame for sure, but what the Reds accomplished in his time. I'm about winning championships,
absolutely.
and again, I don't think it was his fault necessarily always. I mean, he was an elite level player, but his contract kind of hamstrung them, to a certain degree, and didn't allow them to put a championship roster together. So I know I'm probably in the minority, but I have nothing against Joey Votto whatsoever, but I'm going no based on championships.
Okay.
All right.
Now, my vote after looking at Roland being put in and Steve Garvey's numbers not being as good as Votto's, I'm gonna have to put him in there.
Okay, I can't argue it.
It's real close.
And I wouldn't be disappointed if he was there. He was unique, obviously, in the way that he played the game, and he was consistent, and he was all of those things. But I don't know. I'll take the unpopular opinion on this one.
I got you. Hey, Coach, thanks for being with us today. We sure appreciate it. We know you're busy, and appreciate spending a couple minutes.
It's been fun, Greg. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. For our director, Jared McDonald, I'm Greg Davis. We'll see you next time when we go one-on-one.